Hey guys, we're going to start talking about sequences, and we're going to look at two different types. We're going to look at just a regular sequence, sometimes we refer to them as algebraic formula, and we're also going to look at what a recursive formula is going to look like. So they give us a pretty basic one to start, and the big thing you notice about a sequence, it's only used with positive integers. So there's only positive numbers that can be placed in these sequences. So they want us to find the first three terms. If I want to find the first term, a of 1, that would mean I would have to put in 1 for n. And for the second term, similar, put in 2 for n. And then for the third term, you would put in 3 for n. Everything else stays the same. So like for the first term, you would get 1. Second term, you would get 3. And the third term, you would get 5. So pretty much this sequence is going to be the odd numbers. Now if I wanted to figure out part B, which term gives me 53, one way you could do it is by putting 53 as your answer and then solving for n. So if I add 1 to both sides, I get 54, and then divide by 2, I'm going to get 27. So the 27th term would end up equaling the number 53. Now, moving on to recursive exercise 2. They want us to do the first 5 terms of the sequence. So they tell us what the first one is. They tell us the first term is -2. And then from then on out, we have to take our first number. To get our next number, to get f of 2, I'm going to have to take my answer for f of 1, and I'm going to have to add 5 to it. So that means f of 2 is going to be +3. So what we're doing, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add 5 to each term before it to get the answer of that previous term. So for f of 3, I'd be at 8. F of 4, I'd be at 13, and f of 5, I'd be at 18. So those would be the first 5 terms in this case. Okay. And then if you wanted to find the 20th term, what you'd want to do is you'd want to take, to find the 20th term, you would start with your first term, which is -2, and you would add to it the number of increases you're doing, which in this case would be 19, and multiplying that by the difference. So in this case, we're going up by 5, so that'd be multiplied by 5. So to find the 20th term, you'd have 19 times 5, which is 95, minus 2, which would be 93. And this is the formula for the arithmetic sequence. So there is also one that we'll talk about later on for geometric sequence as well. Now for the next one, we're just going to do exercises 3 and 4. For a recursive definition for f of n, what you want to do for this set of numbers is you want to start by writing down the first term. So we know f of 1 is going to be 5, because that's the first number in our sequence. And then to get each next number, you would have to take the number before it, which we would use as f of n minus 1. And then to get to the next number, you want to find the pattern. So in this case, to get from 5 to 10 and 10 to 20, you'd have to multiply everything by 2. So times 2 for that one. Now, for exercise 4, it's a multiple choice question. And it says they want us to square that first number, or square the last number, and then add 2 to it. So we'd start by doing the first term. So to get the second term, I would have to do 2 squared plus 2, which would mean the second term is going to be 6. To get the third term, I'd have to do 6 squared plus 2, which in this case would be 38. And then for the fourth term, I'd have to take 38 squared and add 2 to it. And in that case, that one's going to end up being choice 4, 1446. So, as you're looking at some of the problems on the next page, which go through writing formulas, make sure that you know which type it is, because we just talked about this one's recursive. So recursive has the first term and then the change from one to the next. Or it could be an algebraic definition, kind of like exercise 1, which would be similar to a linear function.